Alright, we need to talk about the Samsung S26 lineup because something weird is happening here. On the outside, it looks like a normal upgrade year. New phone, new chip, same Ultra branding. But when you start digging into the details, it feels like Samsung quietly took a step back in some important areas. Let's start with the biggest shock. The Galaxy S26 Ultra is keeping the same 5000 mAh battery. Yes, the exact same size as the S25 Ultra. And not just last year's phone. Samsung has been using this same 5000 mAh battery for about 6 years now in their Ultra models. Now, you might say, okay, that's fine, 5000 mAh is already big. But here's where things get concerning. The new EU battery labels show something very important: charge cycles. Basically, this tells you how many times you can fully charge your phone before the battery starts losing power and health. And guess what? The S26 Ultra's charge cycles are reduced by 800 compared to the S25 Ultra. That's about a 40% drop. Let that sink in. That means even if the battery life looks good in the first year, after a couple of years, your battery might not last the same way it used to. It may lose health faster. You might notice it dying quicker. You may need to replace it sooner. That's not something we like to hear on a premium flagship phone. Now, some leaks are saying the runtime per charge will be better. Maybe Samsung improved efficiency. Maybe the new chip is more power efficient. That's possible. But long-term battery health matters more. It's like buying a car that drives great today, but the engine wears out faster over time. And this isn't the only downgrade. Samsung is also removing Bluetooth from the S Pen on the S26 Ultra. If you remember, the S Pen used to have Bluetooth features. You could use it as a remote shutter for photos. You could control slides, do gestures in the air. That's gone. Now, maybe not everyone used those features, but when you're paying Ultra money, you don't expect features to disappear. You expect more features, not less. And then there's the camera situation. From physical size comparisons, it looks like Samsung might not be increasing the sensor size much, and competitors are starting to pull ahead in hardware. Bigger sensors usually mean better light capture, better night photos, better detail. If Samsung is staying behind in sensor size, that could be another area where the Ultra feels less Ultra. Now, let's talk about the positives, because it's not all bad. There are a few upgrades. One is improved thermals. That means better cooling inside the phone. So when you're gaming, editing videos, or doing heavy tasks, the phone should stay cooler and keep performance stable. That's good. There's also something called a privacy display feature. Details are still not super clear, but it sounds like Samsung is focusing more on security and protecting what's on your screen. And of course, we're getting the new Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 for Galaxy. Slightly overclocked, a bit faster, better performance, probably better efficiency too. So performance-wise, it should be strong, very strong. But here's the real question. Is this a real upgrade or just small changes wrapped in a new name? Because when the battery capacity stays the same, charge cycles go down, Bluetooth S Pen features are removed, and camera hardware isn't clearly improved, it starts to feel like Samsung is playing it safe. Too safe. Ultra phones are supposed to push limits. Bigger battery, bigger camera, new crazy features. Instead, we're getting better cooling, a new chip, and maybe slightly better efficiency. That's not bad, but is it exciting? If you're coming from an older phone, like an S22 or S23 series, this might still feel like a big jump. But if you have the S25 Ultra, this upgrade feels very hard to justify right now. And honestly, the biggest concern for me is that 40% reduction in charge cycles. Long-term battery health is something most people don't think about on day one, but 2 years later, you will care. A lot. So the big question is Samsung cutting corners quietly, or are they focusing more on software and efficiency instead of hardware upgrades? We need more official details, but right now, this doesn't feel like a bold move. It feels like a safe refresh, and when you're paying Ultra price, safe isn't always enough.